Audio.
That button.
Are you set into
What button?
video
Yeah.
mode?
Yeah.
Audio recording level.
Whatever. I can't. Ah, shit. You know what? I might be too clumsy to have an audio studio.
Or you have everything strung around and you're tripping over everything. I think organization is your issue right now.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do. All right. So let's
Oh my gosh, that shirt. I love it.
Thanks.
It is the best shirt I've ever seen in my whole life.
Thank you.
So you can't do the little pushy button thing that I asked you to do?
When I do, nothing happens.
You
Hold
are
on,
correct.
I also can't see what I'm doing. Hold on. It says audio record level.
That's so strange.
I know. I feel like they're one of those videos you sent me told me to set up a custom button.
Oh, and then you probably did it.
And that was the button. So I did it.
Oh, I didn't set any custom buttons for mine.
I just tried to delete it. But that didn't go well either.
Yeah.
Oh, it's makeup time.
Yep.
Makeup time.
Jeez.
By the way, we are live, FYI.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. She's putting her makeup on. I actually put makeup on this morning because I wanted to test out the makeup because, as you know, I'm doing a lot more video stuff and we're, putting so much money on doing, at least I'm putting so much money and I'm getting my friends to also spend a lot of money.
Indeed.
Never mind.
Oh my gosh. I have to say hello to Crystal. And I'm actually saying this to you now. Crystal. Hi, Crystal. I meant to respond so much sooner.
Prettier for this. What do you want me to
now,
say?
Let me see.
Oh, I don't know.
Let me see.
Doesn't matter.
Did you guys ever see Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse on Broadway when Miss Yvonne puts the makeup on?
Yeah, that's funny. I went to Broadway.
She pretty? She prettier than me?
Oh my God. I gotta get everyone. Oops. Where'd it go?
Yeah. Could you see me on Broadway?
Actually, yeah, I could.
On Broadway.
They say the lights are something on Broadway, but I don't remember what they said.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, this is gonna be weird because I gotta look up here.
Do you?
Don't I?
I don't know. You could look right at your screen and you'll see us.
I'll see you. Yeah, but it looks like I'm looking down. I gotta fix that.
That's true too.
All right, I'll fix it.
Well, here's again, this is the video of the audio recording.
Right. We're just playing around. I think if you are doing your video stuff for, when you're recording or it's going to be a big to-do that it's live, then yes. So then you would need to look at the camera.
Yeah, you'll know what to do for next time.
Well, next time I won't have just gotten the new ring light 5 seconds before we start.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that should work out a lot better, I think.
Yes.
That would be correct.
It doesn't, listen, everything you think you're going to set up for when you do something, like I got a new Mac Mini last week and I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
And then, so what happens is, then I wait until Friday. I'm a good boy and I wait till all my recordings are done. And then Friday I tear everything down. I tear everything out of this studio. I put my Mac Mini in, I get everything set up. And then I start testing things. And I'm like, ooh, I need this. Ooh, I need that. So all weekend long, I'm doing, ooh, I need this. Ooh, I go to process audio. I'm like, oh, I don't have my audio stuff on here. So I got to go do that. And everything is an email and check an email and get a password and all this other crap. So I go through the whole thing. Today I go to live stream on my show and I want to share a video and I go to share and it says, oh, you can't share because you haven't given
permissions.
That's right.
To
do that, quit.
Yeah.
and then share. And then, well, if I quit, I end the broadcast. I can't do that. So there I am with all my 15 video clips all ready to go, and I can't play them.
Oh my God. Were you so mad?
I was a little upset. So then we just decided to do the most boomerish thing ever and complain.
Quit?
And no, my co-host was complaining because he got a negative review because he's selling his vinyl albums for unbelievable amounts of money right now.
What?
Hundreds of dollars for albums.
I thought they weren't worth shit.
No, if they're in good condition, and he was a collector, and a lot of them were unopened and stuff, he's getting hundreds of dollars for them. So he got a negative review, and I said, "How many positive reviews?" He goes, he says 60. And I said, "And here you are complaining about your one negative." As far as I'm concerned, it's 60-1. You're still doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And then we got into tipping for delivery people. And
Here we go.
all right, and I say it is a I want to say honor. I'm going to go with the word honor to have somebody drive to a place, pick up the food, and drive it to my house, and I'm going to tip them. And
Sure
he said, right, and he said, "Well, what if they screw it up? What if they don't make the hamburger right?" I said, "That has nothing to do with the delivery guy." I said, "It doesn't. That has anything. The delivery guy is supposed to pick it up and bring it to your house. He's not supposed to see how it's made." Oh, it was a nightmare. It was the most boomerish episode we've ever done, but fun. I couldn't hear any of my clips. So then I made sure that I could go back and do all that. So if we ever had to share a clip here, we could.
Yeah, it's a whole to do to have to remember to set up all the things and give permissions and
And
every little bit. Right now I'm trying.
What episode is this?
Huh?
Hmm?
What number is this again?
347.
Is it?
Yep.
Test.
Yes,
Patrick Keller. Sorry, we are so far behind today. Lisa Orkin, so happy to see you, or to see the little words come up. Hi, Patrick Keller. You are famous. We put you in the last episode. We do have some things to check out, and we've been playing with all kinds of stuff. And Cheryl Robertson is in the house as well. So glad to have you here.
Hi, Cheryl.
Yay. I am gonna look at some stuff today. Happy
You know, I don't never know. I'm not gonna say anything.
What?
When people have glasses, you get ring light. Like, in other words, we can see your ring light. You have ring light pupils.
I know.
it's all we have to get that. I know. Look at that. It's the lighting that you have to set it up higher and to the sides.
So why does Elsie have a green thing around hers?
Oh, because I have that on eCam.
Gotcha.
I'm coming in through eCam, so I can change.
Yeah, you're fine there, kiddo.
I can change that. See, I have my.
Oh, okay.
I have my thingy.
I'm trying to set up audition, dude. I can't hear it.
Oh.
You can't hear it.
I can't hear it.
That's not good.
By the way, John.
Yes.
Working.
You know what would have been easier for you with the Mac Mini is if you would have done the whole joining of them. Like you can join your other computer and the new computer, and you can make everything go into it. Using Thunderbolt or using a cable.
I thought about doing that.
I did that for. Oh, I just saw Patrick's comment. Jess is mean. I almost cried. JK. Don't make Patrick Keller cry is all I have to say. Anyway, so John, I did that for my MacBook Air, and it was an unbelievable experience, I have to say. It was amazing. Everything. All your settings, every single setting that you have on your Mac is already there. So it was fantastic. I was up and running. I didn't have to do anything. With this Mac Mini, I did not want that because I didn't want everything that I have on my other computer on this computer. Exactly. I want this computer to be super light, nothing on it other than like to, whenever I'm doing anything for production.
Right.
And so I've had to start from scratch. And so right now I am dealing with the font situation. So I'm looking for fonts and they're in my other computer and it's annoying.
I never
they're not in this one.
Fonts. I thought
Test.
You sound lovely and super
I
thick.
can't hear me I can't hear me when I play it back. There's something.
Okay. All right. So here we go. You're in Audition right now.
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to Audition and I want you to go to Preferences.
I'm there.
All right. Now I want you to go to Audio
Hardware.
All right. And then in Audio Hardware, your output should be, what's your output say?
Glitter pods, because I'm using my AirPods. Is that not right?
Well, I would go with your computer output because
let's
you only
try
hear that's only going to if you hear. I don't know that because it sounds like
because then I'm going to hear you guys
twice. You shouldn't.
It's going to come out the speakers.
Turn the speakers off.
That I can't. I want to make sure that I sound okay, which I can't do.
You sound fine.
Did you hear that? Test.
I can't hear anything.
All right,
I don't hear anything. All I need you to do is the wavy thing going up and down when you talk.
Yeah, that part's fine.
But you can't hear yourself in your own headphones.
Correct. It's fine. I'm just going to leave it. And we always have a backup.
How do we always have a backup?
It's a thing we use.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Oh, I have one thing that Carrie. Oh, can you hear us, Jess? Yes, you all have because you're in my. Carrie said to make sure that your computer speakers are also set to the AirPods. Is what she said.
All right. I'll check that. Give me a second. Boom. Ouch. All right. Thank you, Carrie. Let me give it a shot here. I mean, I can hear you guys in my earpods, so it has to be set to that. And it is.
Okay. I am not sounding so great, says Carrie. So I will look at my settings.
All right. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
I
know that I have weird. Yeah, I know. I got to move those so that they're like not in my range of vision. For today, though, we're just going to have to deal, I think.
Where is
weirdly.
Hi, everyone. I can see your comments now. What's up?
Nice.
So, Carrie, I am actually okay. Because I am all picked out. I have all the right picked things. I checked all my settings before we started. It looks like I am in the right mic in all the places. I sound a bit crunchy, but mind you, remember this is
you look a bit crunchy as well.
So, yes,
remember, this is not the recording that John's gonna use. So,
gotcha.
This is the testing of the recording.
My desk is a veritable farm of cords right now. Something's got to give here, man. I got to fix this as soon as we get off.
And then you have an open glass with liquid and ice in it. It's just making me nervous.
I do.
It is nutty.
I remember one time we were recording and I hear, "Oh shit!" I go, "What happened?" And she had just bought a brand new MacBook and she poured soda all into the keyboards and everything. It was running out of the keyboard.
Oh my God, that was years ago. That was like
testing. I'm just testing. I am testing.
You're very loud in here. I don't know if we can turn your. How do I turn your volume?
Me?
No. Well, both. Yes, when you lean into the speaker, you just blow our ears out. So your mic technique is horrendous. It's been.
I'm going to move it.
You guys are. I know you're. I'm so impressed that y'all are not. There's 8 people here watching us, and we haven't done
a thing yet. Well,
we haven't even.
But this is how podcasters work. We're setting things up. We're getting ready to go. You hear this, you hear that. Elsie sounds better to me. She's not as overmodulated.
Yeah, I
Here.
turned down my gain on the Rodecaster.
You know what, Elsie? I just figured out. I think your color,
Yeah,
is StreamYard, because when I have the camera piece facing me so I can see myself, and I'm way better lit up there than I am here.
Oh, Amber. Oh
okay.
my God.
So I think it's StreamYard because I look fabulous in my camera.
Amber,
right.
the color just ran out of my face when I read this.
Is there a way to
full
like?
glass ice water on her new Mac.
Where the
Is
heck
there like
is my water? Yes,
a
it's there.
hair
What?
filter or like a teeth filter or anything where I can just improve the few things that
This is why you got to come watch
things.
live.
We
'Cause
got to
this
just
is-
be real. We got to be real with this crap.
We're not even recording. This won't even be in the podcast. We're not even recording.
reality is
This is not going to be. Yeah, reality
fun.
is.
This is StreamYard only content.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's
How's it going?
I'm
My
ready.
friends.
good. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, both of you.
I'm good.
Okay.
Amber
right.
says she did that too. She dropped a full glass of ice water on her new Mac. Oh,
Yeah.
Dude.
Dude.
It's terrible. All right. Let's get ready to record.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right.
I got all the things.
Jess.
Ready.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press record. All right. Let me hear a hello from Elsie
Hello.
and a hello from Jess.
Hello.
All right. We're ready to go. All right.
Alrighty.
Anything we need to do? Any
Hi, Bonnie.
audio that we didn't send? Any clips?
We do not have any audio for this episode. No.
Okay.
We don't
Just
talk about Bruno.
really quickly, do
Mhm.
you are we doing Linktree again?
Yeah, I think till March. We have two more.
Okay, just double checking. I put it in the show notes, but I just wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me look at those.
And we can do
We don't talk about
let's do it
Bruno.
right after the super listeners.
Oh, I have some stuff to put in here. Hold on. Can I do a
And
rant?
I'm gonna do this is a really cool
Can you? I would be disappointed if you didn't.
Completely not podcasting related. Let's ask the people who are with us live. I have 2 rants. You
Oh my
can't
God.
know what they're about, but should I do it or not? Not the second one's not a rant. I'm not really ranting. Well, first one's a little bit of a rant. Second one, no.
Have you had your medication today?
I have.
Okay, just checking. 'Cause
I'm
this-
gonna put a
rude.
star on the things that I really want to cover today.
Okay.
Okay.
If
I
we
like
feel-
how in the show, people, let me tell you what Jess just did. She went on our show notes, and then in the show notes she put rant or 2. So I don't even know what that is.
right. and
Okay,
she
well,
knows
all
what they're about.
all of them want to hear my rants. I'm very sorry to say.
Okay, well we can start with the rant, and
Hey, listen,
then
we can always cut it out if it doesn't.
and then we can do Linktree, and then super listeners. Okay, and then we'll look at the time, and there's more things on our list that can always come back for another time. Okay, friends? Okay.
All right. So now we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ready to go with the music?
We are.
Here we go.
Hello. Welcome to She Podcast episode 347. I'm your co-host, Jessica Kupferman. And with me, as always, my very crunchy co-host, Elsie Escobar. How are you today, Miss Elsie?
I'm doing great. As great as I can. Today's
Well,
Randy's
are you-
birthday, actually.
Who? Randy.
It's his birthday.
That makes him a Pisces?
He is a Pisces.
This explains so much.
It does.
It really does. For me, it does.
Does it really?
Mm-hmm. So I'm wearing a t-shirt for those of you who can't see me. It says super thick, and the letters are in Superman type, and it's all in Superman colors. And fate made me put this t-shirt on today because a couple days ago, Isaac was saying that he was getting a little uncomfortable with how his belly was, getting bigger. And so, we talked about healthier eating and agreed that we would, try to eat healthier snacks, which he's been avoiding for whatever reason. And then this morning, right as we're about to walk out the door, he says, this kid at school's out because he doesn't have school today. So they're all at the J for like a day of funny games like swimming and whatever. And he says, on Friday, this kid Carter called me fat. And I was like, oh, really? And he said, yeah. And he said he was going to punch my belly because it was so fat.
What?
And I was like, I beg your pardon. Excuse me. And he was just like, yeah. And he kept calling me Ethan. Is another one of his good friends, Ethan, who's like, a little taller than Isaac, but around the same size. He told me he was going to punch Ethan, and he kept calling me Ethan and calling him Isaac and said we look alike because we're so fat. And I was like, cool. So didn't, again, still wearing this shirt, no thought to it whatsoever. I get to the JCC and I was like, look, you got to keep that kid away from my kid because this is the first time in 7 years he's ever said that he's not happy with the way he looks. And finding out that it was because of another kid makes me very upset because all along we've been telling him that, that your size doesn't matter. It's not going to prevent you from being successful or being a nice person or getting married, that that it's like the least important thing about you is the things that you look like. I mean, he's healthy, so he doesn't have to worry about that. I mean, the fact that he told me that the other day that he was upset about it, I thought was just his own personal, like, I'm getting slower or whatever. I didn't know it was because another kid told him that there was something wrong with it. So I said to them, I said, this is the first time in 7 years that he doesn't like the way he looks because of something that happened here. And I'm really disappointed. And I mean, this is the same woman that, like, I swear she used to teach in public school because they have the same cadence of, like, they always say the same things that they think I want to hear. Like, thank you for telling me. We really appreciate the communication. Like, saying little stuff without saying any stuff. We'll keep an eye on it. We can't keep them apart because they're the same age and they're going to be together, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. And I was like, sure. Okay. Keep an eye on it. But also I'd really like you to tell their parents. So she kind of hemmed and hawed about it. And then I leave. And then I tell Scott what happens. Oh my God, you guys, he called her up and ripped her a completely new set of legs. He was just like, oh my God, it was terrible. He was just like, I'm going to unleash a social media rant on this place. I went here when I was a kid. This is my JCC. I'm not going to have my kid bullied in my own JCC. And I was like, oh, I feel bad for her now. Because he was so mad. But yeah, so Jenny is saying fat phobia is the worst in bullying. And I'm sorry that happened to him. Me too. Because he has a spirit. He has an unsquashable spirit and enthusiasm for life. And I don't want him to pick out his clothes based on what he has to hide. And that's what's going to happen now. Like, it's all going to happen now. All the stuff I've been trying to avoid all this time is now going to start because he's 7 and some dipshit kid told him he was fat, which, by the way, he already knows. There's no, he has a mirror. He knows that he used to be thinner and now he's fatter or heavier. He calls himself burly, actually, which is hilarious.
Burly? He's burly? Is that what he calls himself?
He must have asked his teacher if he was fat, and she said, I think you're burly.
Oh.
I was like, hey. But anyway, it was just, I'm glad I wore this today because I hope that it emphasized that, like, and she was not planning on saying anything to the kids' parents because it happened Friday instead of, today. She was just like, well, it's too late to say anything. And he was like, the fuck it is. He goes, you're going to call their parents and you're going to tell them, or you're going to give me their number and I'll call them instead. And she was like,
wow,
no problem. Yeah, he was mad. And then poor thing, his mother comes down and he goes, I'm grouchy because someone said something about Isaac's weight to him. And if you say one fucking word about dessert or weight, I'm going to kill you and your mother too. He just went off on her. She just said good morning. She didn't do anything. Right. But he was just like, this is,
Yeah.
He's mad. He's gonna be mad about it all day now, I'm sure. Husky. I know. Husky's a good word too. I like burly. But I mean, husky's good, but it also, for some adults that has a negative connotation. For some adults. I mean, I think it's a cute word, which is why they named the fluffy kid sizes husky. I mean, I say fluffy too. That's what Emily used to say. Anyway, so I don't know what to talk about in regards to it. And I always know when I'm talking about overweight stuff with Elsie, she's always speechless because, of course, she's never, ever had to deal with anything like that before in her entire adult life. But perhaps her children have or will. I don't know. I know you have teenage daughters and they're not always that satisfied with the way that they look and feel in their skin. But that's normal for a teenager anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you have to understand that yeah, absolutely. I never, I had my own body things when I was younger.
Yeah, everyone does.
Especially when I was a teenager and whatnot. And I don't think I even really liked my shape until I was in my mid 30s.
Oh my God, that's a long time, Elsie.
You always look at yourself, even when you're in your body, you don't really see. And again, this is by far nothing of, I've always been about the same size. Like, in all honesty, that's a privilege that I've had in terms of my genes. But it's weird how the mind can really manipulate all of the things. So even though I have been, fluctuating from, I would say 5 to maybe 10 pounds back and forth all of my life, which is pretty astounding for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
My own sense of myself didn't think so. Like, I got caught up in the minutia. Like, I used to measure my waistline and I used to measure my thighs when I was in in 9th and 10th grade.
Basil does that too.
9th and 10th grade. And then I would read Shape magazine and I would work out in my bedroom. I would do all the exercises. I was always really, really engaged with health and fitness and working out and all that stuff. But I always thought like a number would do it. So it's like I had to have whatever inches. And if it was another inch, then it was not the optimal. And, your thighs touching and all of these things that I was obsessive about without seeing the whole. And even though people were always like nobody really called me names and things like that, you still don't believe people when they tell you that you look nice or, oh, you're so beautiful, or you're so pretty, or look at how nice that is. You don't believe it because whatever is in your head is stuck in this loop.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm just saying that that's a thing and I recognize it, but I do know that my child, both of them, are having very hard time being in their new bodies. And I don't know how to help that because I didn't know how to help it until I turned 35.
Right.
It was just like,
Hold on. Can you close my door, babe? Thanks. Sorry. Carrie, Patrick is saying that public school in the 80s and 90s had a problem with fat shaming. It was more than just fat shaming because I wasn't fat, but I was extremely unathletic, clumsy, bookish, uninterested, and limbs like noodles, no strength whatsoever. So like anything I threw went nowhere. Anything I tried to catch smacked me in the face. So like,
right.
I was a goddamn disaster in gym. So it wasn't really about fat shaming. And actually, I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, my father is like me. He's not particularly athletic, but I mean, he's very smart and bookish and wore glasses and whatever. And I was thinking about how shitty it must have been in the 60s and 70s when everyone was like, everyone wants to date the football quarterback or, the jock at school. Like, those bookish kids probably were just like invisible to every girl. Because if they weren't on the football team or the baseball team, that must have sucked. I mean, I'm not saying.
I mean, isn't that still kind of happening? But it's just a different type of. Now it's like, oh yeah, it is, but it's just a different one. It's not the jocks. It's like the cool hipster people.
Yeah, but reading a book wouldn't, nobody would come up, pick up that book and bonk you on the head with it like they did then. Like people were just
I'm
mean
sure.
and called them nerds and geeks and stuff like that if they even remotely, did well in athletic or academics.
Oh,
Oh, so Carrie says, I went through the same thing with my son. We focused on health. He ended up losing 200 pounds a year ago, and he's kept it off on his own.
that's really good,
I don't
Carrie.
know how
And
old he is, but that's amazing.
yeah, I think that, Carrie, it would be great if you shared, if you don't mind, how old he is, because we are in that conversation with my
Because also my son only
eldest.
weighs 100 pounds. So
My
you can't do that.
my
needs to-
eldest is like, we've been trying to instill in her, not to actually, it is more about that self thing, right? That internal thing, because sometimes I tell her, honestly, I said, I don't know, like, I know that you're unhappy about some of these things. And when I was unhappy about some of the things, I had an internal compass to do something about it. Like, my parents never said you should do these things. Nobody said that to me. I did it all. So if I was unhappy with whatever part of something, I looked for a solution and I started to do the thing. Like I had, how do you say that? Like an internal, what is it? Self-starter? I don't know if that's
but the thing is that even that implies she needs to do something.
So, I understand that. But you know what, Jess? She does.
Well,
because
how come she's not just have a different body type? Like, why does she have
no, because there's a difference between having a different body type and being in the bedroom or on the couch without moving the entire day.
True, but what if those things don't interest her though?
Because do you understand that the biggest killer right now is being sedentary and not standing up or walking?
Yes, and I'm sure that having a daughter like that must be very difficult. But
all I'm saying is that is the biggest reason that there are health issues happening in the world. And that includes me, meaning I can look super skinny, but if I'm seated down the entire time, it gives me a higher chance of so many awful things happening in my body, because sitting up, reaching out to grab something, doing a twist, like meaning picking something heavy up and moving it to the other side. Basic functioning in my body is not being executed. And it's just allowing for a complete misalignment of our own systems to work optimally so that we stay healthy. That is so important to me. So I don't care about the size. I care about move. The best way to impact mental health is to move.
Okay, just do me a favor. Before you give her that speech,
it's already done, dude.
The first thing you should say to her every single time is, you are perfect and beautiful exactly the way you are. You don't need to change one thing about you. That said, if you are uncomfortable, it's probably because you're not moving as much as you used to. I mean, but don't give her a speech about how, again, because you're making her feel responsible, and she may not be responsible. Like she may grow out of it, or she may, have a certain dietary need right now that she's not going to need later. Or she may just be a heavy, prone to being heavier than you and May. She may just, I mean, sedentary could be, she's a low energy person. It could be because she's not interested in doing athletic things. She's more interested in stuff that happens indoors. It could be a lot of things. If she thinks,
and at the same time, though,
you think something's wrong with her, it'll make her feel shittier, though.
Right. But here's the thing, though, that there's another aspect of this, which is about the fact that, let's say, I can say now, like, I do currently know that I have ADHD, even though I haven't been, properly diagnosed or whatever.
Yes, Jenny.
So knowing now my child does, my May has been tested and she also has ADHD. So that is something that I need to, at this point in time, knowing what I know about the way that I behaved in my life with the type of brain that I have, it would behoove me to let May know that her brain works this way. These are some things that are troublesome and that are going to be challenging for you. And therefore, these are some paths that you need to really pay attention to in order to do the things that you want to do in your life. Some of these are having to work around the way that your brain works. And there are going to be some things like, one of the key things the psychiatrist said to us was, if she needs to take a test at school, she needs to be in her own space. And we need to advocate for that. Okay.
You do.
So if we add a layer of propensity towards diabetes, propensity towards breast cancer, propensity towards
What's
high
that?
blood
People with
pressure.
ADHD?
No, I'm talking about my other child.
genetic.
So
Okay,
then, like, if you have that propensity, which is also something that happens in my family, we do have propensities towards these things. I have a heart thing that could possibly be something that I need to and have had to take into account, right? So that means that in order for me to be at my optimal, I do need to do these things in order to survive. So I can't just allow myself to just be, oh, whatever, I'm just going to chill out and not do these things, because I have to work on my heart. I have to be able to make sure that I don't move into a place of anemia or diabetes or low blood pressure, or low blood sugars, which is something that happens with me. So I have to manage that. And I can't do some things. So that's what you have to really appeal to. And even if it's like, oh, you shouldn't eat those, like, you can eat whatever you want. You can just sit down and not do these things. No, it's actually going to be really unhealthy for me to do that. So I have to prepare my child. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking to her about that you're perfect. Of course.
But they don't know that.
Yes, she does. You can totally explain these things to, yes, absolutely. You have a ability to do these things. Therefore, you have to watch these things here, because they could be a problem. I also have addiction in my family from both sides. Both of my children do. Alcoholism and drug addiction on one side and alcoholism on the other side. It would behoove us to be able to go understand to them and say, this is a propensity that is in your DNA and in your genes. You need to understand that some of these things could be problematic to you. We have addicted personalities in our families. Therefore, please be mindful about these things.
And yes, of course.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's different than food.
And what about diabetes and heart disease and all of those things? Should I just be like,
no, but teenagers and children, unless they have an immediate risk, are not going to give a shit about that. They won't care about that till much later. You caring about it, if they're oppositional, will make them want to sneak sugar.
Oops.
Right. They will hide it from you and possibly binge more if you're being strict about it.
And what if
they can't have it?
So think about the perspective of everything that you're advocating for Isaac right now, for sure, which is great. What if it doesn't matter how much you advocate, and his world starts to really dim his light?
No, well, we are making changes, though. We are making changes. I told him that we're not going to have any more junk food. We're not going to have any more things that are bad for us. I printed out a list of healthy snacks for the fridge so that if he needs to feed himself, he can pick one of the things: string cheese, yogurt, banana, peanut butter, whatever, peanut butter and celery, oatmeal, whatever, that he can have one of those things. And, and then also, part of the reason I think that he is a little fluffier than normal is because he was playing 3 sports when the pandemic started.
Correct.
And then now he plays none because COVID keeps coming and going and coming and going. So I told him, I signed him up for the swim team. Then he said he didn't want to do it. So we're looking at jujitsu, and we're looking at soccer shots and a couple other things that he might want to do. And I think that will help. But also, everyone that I live with has this like overactive sense of taste and smell. So like their food enjoyment is like on a whole nother level, I think, than most people, because like they can taste the ingredients, each one. Like my mother-in-law is the one that walked into my house and knew there were bugs burning in my lamp. Like she could smell them. Like that shit is crazy. And he's one of those people, he just like loves to eat and all the different foods, and he can't stand not tasting what everyone else has. Like, and it's not because he's starving. It's just because it's like, it's fun for him because he has this propensity for being able to enjoy things differently than me. Certainly, I don't give a shit if I ever eat. Honestly, it was if I could take a pill for 3 meals, I would. I don't give a shit about eating.
Oh my
I mean,
God, I adore. And then see, I love eating. I love it.
I don't care for it.
But
Frankly, I don't care for it.
I
But I
love
also
it.
know that ADHD people medicate with food and sugar because sometimes it's that dopamine high. And there's a Instagram. There's an Instagram person who does nutrition for ADHD, and she kind of is like, these people are going to do this. They are definitely more geared towards being a little heavier because they medicate with something that will give them a quick high because their brain needs it.
Right.
So, I mean, there's just stuff to think about. But
Jenny, I did pull up that podcast. Oops. Sorry.
which one?
Wrong one. Where did it go? Where are you? Where did you say? Oh, here, this is what she said. She said, I really recommend checking out Maintenance Phase. I'll check it out. Absolutely. It's a podcast with Aubrey Gordon and Michael Hobbs. It says that it's debunking the junk science behind health fads, wellness scams, and nonsensical nutrition advice. So we're going to check it out. We'll put it in links in the show notes just for that, so that we can check it out for sure. And yeah. And also, I think that Carrie also mentioned this, which is something that is very, very important.
Absolutely.
Because
Hormones
the daddy, the daddy of the house, her father, is absolutely insulin resistant for sure. He is and he has been working really, really hard to manage his blood sugars. And so blood sugar conversations have been a huge part of our conversation at home, because they are it's interesting how everybody processes a lot of this food differently for each of our bodies. So we are absolutely aware of all of those things. And he's been really, really, it's amazing what he has done with his own management of his own body. Because one of the biggest things that he's doing now, he is a year younger than I am, he's 49, is that he refuses to lose his health. And so he is working towards being as strong as he possibly can for the rest of his life for our children, and he is like it has to be dealt with. And I know my hormones are off because of his body type and the way that he manages his sugars and how it affects him. So he's really been managing a lot of that from his own. He's got he's measuring blood sugar spikes and through the day, and working out every day, and moving every day, and intermittent fasting, and all kinds of very interesting things that he's been doing. And it's been really working for him. He's doing fantastic in so many different ways that I haven't seen him do before.
Good for him.
So in that respect, he's doing really, really awesome. But anyway, we welcome your thoughts.
I didn't mean for it to be this much of a tangent. I just think it's not a crime to be fat. That's all.
No, that is absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct.
But that is the general consensus.
Yes, it is.
And I've worked really hard to make sure that his self-worth isn't measured by what he looks like, especially his weight. And I feel like it got ruined.
Yep.
And I'm mad about it. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say is that I killed one of my hermit crabs by accident. I found him underneath a log with no shell. He probably froze to death because it's so cold in here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I know that you really loved him.
Nah, I don't give a shit about them. In fact, I was thinking about how to kill the other one, and Scott was just like, "I married a murderer," so I was like, "Fine, I'll fucking take care of him."
Oh my God!
I'm so sick of them though. No,
holy crap, dude! Oh no! All right, can we talk about some podcasting related things now?
Yes,
hey John, would you wait? Hold on one second before we continue. 27. Okay, we have 27 minutes of show. I just wanted to double check.
I wanted to say. I'm sorry.
We have 20 minutes of show, and now we're going to transition. Okay, John, just letting you know.
Okay, before we get into the stuff, let's just tell you quickly about Linktree. Linktree is the way that you can thread everything you do with a single click. Basically, you put the one Linktree link on all of your bios as your main link, and then when people click it, it pulls up your website, your social, your shop, your all the your Venmo, your PayPal, all the other things that you want people to do, your Patreon, etc. You can set it up to do anything you want, share your entire online world, monetize the work that's gotten everyone's attention. go ahead to linktree.com and get 3 months free of Linktree Pro with the coupon code ShePodcast. So linktree.com, coupon code ShePodcast for 3 months free.
Love
The
it.
Indicus.
Yes, baby. We got Linktree. All right.
All right. Off we
Moving
go.
on to some news.
The news you can use for the informed podcaster. Podcasting news.
Okay, so something I didn't put in here, and I'm just going to mention, but we are not going to talk about it, okay? Because I
Okay.
forgot, is that Spotify just purchased Chartable and Pod Sites. Oh my God. So that's been the news cycle. I'm just mentioning it because everybody's talking about it.
You really
not
want to
gonna
throw that out there and then not say a word about it?
No, we're not going to talk about it because I don't know enough to comment. So I'm just letting you know. These are the news. Spotify purchased Pod Sites and Chartable. Okay, we'll talk about it in another episode. And if you want to know more in our insight, send us feedback at shepodcast.com. Ask us about it. And that way I'll know you want to know our opinion. Okay.
I'll give you a quick insight. They got a lot of cash.
Who, Spotify?
Yeah.
Yes.
They got a lot of cash and there must be a strategy in there somewhere. And I can't wait to figure out what it is.
Anyway.
Seems to just be a big old bunch of purchases. Anyway.
Oh my God. All right. Well, we are going to talk about the super listeners, though.
Yeah, let's do that.
Edison Research and Ad Results Media just had their yearly, I guess, presentation of super listeners, and it was the super listeners of 2021. And there were a lot of really interesting things that went down with these super listeners. And one of them was the fact that, of course, that you can actually, see a link in the show notes, and then you're going to be able to check it out in its entirety, which has a ton of different information. But just to let you know what super listeners mean in this study is somebody who listens to at least 5 hours of podcasts or audio a week. Okay. 5 hours podcast listeners.
5 hours.
That's it. Yeah. So demographically speaking, super listeners tend to be men. Also, demographically speaking, super listeners tend to be between. Actually, it's like a pretty huge amount of folks from 25 to about 44 years old. That's the largest chunk that are super listeners. So it's nice to see that 27%, which is actually the largest chunk of that, are 25 to 34-year-olds, which means it's much younger demographic, which is fabulous. Now, when it comes to the ethnicity of the podcasters, 72% are white. So that means that those people who love to listen to podcasts and are constantly listening to podcasts are primarily white. So these are the, at least 5 hours per week. They listen to podcasts.
That's so much.
At least that's 72%. Yeah. 13% Hispanic or Latino and 10% African American. So already you'll start to see that this is a cold, now that you kind of see the ethnicity, the demographics and the age and all of that stuff for these listeners, then you can kind of get an idea of of why their behavior is what it is when you start to see everything else. One of them is that they all are essentially really gung-ho about paying for subscriptions. So they already have all the premium things. They are, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, all
HBO,
of those things.
Showtime, Sling, DirecTV, YouTube TV. Yeah.
94% have any of these. So not all of them, but any, right? Which is a huge percentage. And you'll see that obviously. So that would say like white, mostly men, in between 24 to 34 or 25 whatever to 35 are used to subscribing and paying for these things, and also consuming a lot of content. So you kind of see what that reflection is with all of those things. Now there's another piece of information here that I thought, oh my gosh. Oh, and then the other thing that they say is that one of the reasons that they do this is so that they can control what they're listening to the most, which is I think it's true. Absolutely. And the other one is because they also don't want to hear as much ads from all the other places because, oh my God, right? Mind you, though, they're also really pro advertising, meaning that about 50% said that advertising on a podcast is the best way for a brand to reach them. So that's pretty amazing if you don't, right? And but now there are a couple of things in here where I was a little astounded. One of them was that they listen to the podcast primarily still through YouTube, then Spotify,
I know that's
then Apple
bonkers.
Podcasts. So YouTube is a recurring story for a lot of these surveys. That it just keeps coming up.
It just will not go away is what we're saying. It's not going away. We have to do it on YouTube. It's very annoying, but there we have it.
Yes, absolutely. It's pretty crazy. Mind you, the majority I would say about 60, almost 60% listen in either Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts as like their main place to listen. So those three platforms seem to be obviously the ones that are leading stuff. Now, I want to kind of talk about some of the advertising stuff because this specific listener report will be really good, I believe, for all of us, regardless of what the demographic shows, because, white younger men is not us, right? It's not me, but we can use this data to sell our own advertising into our own podcasts and kind of allow it, like create the story to really help, because it really has like all of this information about what do you do? Like, are you more apt to purchase a product when you listen into a podcast? Do you trust, trust the story of the podcaster to use the product? How often do people really
That's right. It's measuring influence compared to other mediums, which is really important when you're selling sponsorship specifically on your show.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the biggest percentage points here is appreciation, which is very interesting for super listeners, that if you appreciate, like 64% appreciate podcast advertisers for supporting the favorite podcasts, which is pretty great that's the thing that's happening in the podcasting space. And there's another bit of data here that I wanted to talk about. I think that okay, so this one is very interesting, and
what
this
page
is
are you on? Just curious.
I am currently on page 31 in the PDF, because there's a PDF that's attached to this.
I got it.
Okay. And so this is a really interesting thing where they ask the people, when price and quality are equal, you prefer to buy products from companies that advertise on or sponsor the podcasts you regularly listen to, and 53% agreed, which is a really huge thing. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is super incredible. The kind of power that a super listener has.
Do you know what's even more interesting is that most of these people are watching shows on YouTube where guarantee you they're skipping ads every single time. So they will press that skip ads button and then listen to and comply with whatever we say.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
I know. Oh, that's the other thing that was in this report, y'all. So they broke it down in this really great way. So they broke it down in asking the people, obviously in the survey, what kind of advertising most resonated with them and were more apt to, like have an impression on them so that they would buy the product. And hands down, conversations between the hosts about their lived experience with the product was the best way to do it. That was the best way. And amazing. I want to see in the chat, for those by the way, y'all, She Podcasts the recording happens
Jerry.
or this streaming live. We do it every Monday at 1 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you want to catch us live, you can participate as well. But I have a question for those of you who are still here live, possibly, and not, falling asleep because data sometimes.
Oh my God, this is the best data though.
I know. I love it too. So what do you think don't say anything, Jess. What do you think the lowest type, like the kind that people don't really like at all in terms of ads inside of podcast is? Let's wait a couple of seconds and see if we can hear that because there's a little bit of a delay. Let's see if anybody. So the lowest kind of advertising, right? The kind that you're just like, yeah, I don't like that type of an ad. I don't like that type of an ad. Let's see if they see it. And if not, we can just continue on because I know that's the only thing about
Could have
live.
told you this a long time ago.
Yeah.
I knew it all along.
Where the heck is that? Let me see if I can find.
It's on page. Hold on.
Oh, I got it. Page
34.
34. Correct. Let's see if anybody got it. If not, we can
Cheryl
just talk about
says the ones that got inserted in the middle of a sentence, and Carrie says dynamic non-host. Well, Carrie for the win. That's Cheryl. You're not wrong, but specifically the ones that are pre-recorded and not done or baked in,
right?
Not live.
Duh.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd
like John. Can you go back and pull tape of every time I've ever said they should stop doing dynamic ad insertion, or is it just too many times to mention? Just wondering.
Too many times.
And I don't mean to say that, I told you so, but here's what I will say. I love being right.
I know,
so
right?
much.
Mind you.
As a super podcast listener, can I tell you what annoys me about these dynamic ad reads?
What?
Is it volume changes?
The volume.
That's what kills me about it.
Yeah, the volume.
Hang on 1 second. I have to say something here. That's not it.
Oh my God.
What upsets me the most is that podcasters, and this is my opinion, these opinions are my own,
Indeed.
do not set up for these ads. So in other words,
that's true.
Like Cheryl said, they crowbar them in the middle of a sentence. They'll be talking, all of a sudden, the next thing you know, MeUndies. And I'm like, what just happened?
Yep. Yeah.
Carrie, I just hit a button on my phone and it changed. If you're going to do these ads, you should set up for these ads.
Yeah.
Correct. And I think Carrie was
saying you can do host read dynamic ads. Yes, you can. However, inevitably it was produced differently than the way you're talking right now. So like, for example, Sleep With Me will do host read, about MeUndies or whatever, but he's already started to like help you drift off to sleep by doing this whole mumbling thing. And all of a sudden it was like, before we get started, and it's like,
right.
It scares the bejesus out of you. Even if you're not trying to fall asleep, it's such a different audio. It's like you've been transported from like California to Delaware all of a sudden. Like, stay where you are. I mean, it's just easier if it's baked in because it all goes, it's all the same volume level and produced similarly. Yeah, yes, of course.
A good editor can pull it off, Carrie mentioned. And here's the thing, because I think John
doesn't have one, because I'm sure he does.
I think John really nailed this one, though, is the fact that if you are looking to monetize or using specifically dynamic ads, the way in which you record your show needs to be a framework that has that mindset already, where in the first 10 minutes after the second segment, there's always a spot of pause or music or a transitional something that can easily be found every single time, so that when the dynamic ads are inserted, they are beautifully already added into the mix. Like, it's already pre-done for you because you're waiting for them. The second thing is, just like what Carrie said, the good editor would be able to then manage, or a producer or an executive producer for the show, be able to, before you take the ads, listen to the ads. Everything is exported at the same loudness level with the same kind of encoding. Everybody's using the same setup so that it sounds as if they are baked in. That is also a thing, but it takes forethought and it takes a lot more extra planning in order for that to happen. Because if not, it's not going to work. It's still going to sound weird, but it can be done, but it requires thoughtfulness and planning. So I have heard some folks that have been using dynamic ad insertion with ads and it sounds great. And I also have heard the difference. And the thing is, people seem to think that dynamic ad insertions or anything that's like programmed into the ad is really as easy as turning on a switch and it's going to magically work. It's just going to magically work. Automation. Oh my God. No, that does not happen. So you have to really think about that.
So what I have a client and she and her friend do a podcast about all the housewives of every city.
Yeah.
And then she says to me, I have 4 ads and I need you to put in 4 breaks for 4 ads. So what I do is I go until they end a topic and then I have a little music sweeper that goes in and then there's a half a second of silence and another music sweeper that comes out and it goes right back into the conversation again. And I set that up in 4 different spots throughout the episode. I try because it's usually it's about who can talk an hour and a half about the ladies of the housewives or whatever.
I probably could if I was into it, but yeah.
So, yeah. So then I set them up about 20 minutes apart through the whole episode, and I set them up, and there's music and transition. But what happens is, like you said, you got to plan for this.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't plan for it, when you go to set a dynamic ad, it just waits for a part of silence. And if you just think for a second, and if you're in the middle of a sentence and you think, next thing you know, MeUndies.
Yeah.
So
it's rough.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I don't know, in a dynamic setting like that, you don't pick your ads. So I don't know if there's any volume as an editor or a producer. I don't know if you can pick those ads and see if they're, and listen to them beforehand to see if they're any good. You know, if the
I believe that it depends on the campaign and the type of ad that you are participating in is what I'm that's what I believe you have the opportunity to do. Mind you, there are places like Anchor usually monetizes, or they used to. I don't know if they still do that, but before they would run, their own ads into a lot of the free content in there, and actually they would be able to sort of pay the producers that way. That they would essentially do that. They were running their own ad inventory in there, and I believe that the podcasters would just choose whether or not they were okay with that, and they would either allow that insertion of the ad or not. In that case, I don't know if they have a choice of the levels. I do believe they have a choice maybe in the ad insertion part, but maybe it's just like a pre, what do you call that, Jess?
Pre-roll.
Pre-roll, that's right.
Yeah, pre-roll.
A pre-roll at the beginning, or maybe like something like a post-roll at the end or something. I don't know.
So, all right. So the two, to be totally forthcoming, the 2 hosting companies that I've worked with ad insertion is Megaphone and Spreaker. I haven't worked with any other client that uses a dynamic ad insertion in their audio. So I haven't worked with anybody else that does it. These are the only 2 that I know of. You go in, you pick the time where you want it, and then you set the time where it comes in, and then it'll come at that time. If not, like I said, it'll pick a spot of silence, and then wee-hee, here comes the ad.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. And this is something to think about. Carrie also says it's also unfortunate when you're criticizing a company or service and then you play an ad for that company or service. You have to be super intentional where you place the ads. Absolutely. I mean, come on. It's like there's so many things, so many variables. But alas, yes, we do have an issue sometimes when it comes to the dynamic stuff. But if you are interested in this data, particularly for those of you who are looking to get sponsors for your show, you are pitching something related to your show, specifically with your podcast, feeling a lot of this is possibly going to be a wonderful study for you to quote in your one sheets or in your sponsor decks. So take a look at our show notes and make sure that you are getting over there and downloading the PDF that Edison Research and Ad Results Media have put out, because it is fabulous. All right.
Well, hang on. Before you do this, I just have one other thing that has come up is with the ads that you read. What happens is sometimes the codes, like if you have an ad code for I don't know, discount code of this, it goes away, but it's still in your back catalog. So if somebody hears that advertisement and goes in and goes to use that code, it's not available anymore. So that's the other part. That's the one bad part about
baked in. Yeah.
baked in. That's
yeah, for sure. There's sometimes that happens. And well, I mean, if you want to be extra, because I have seen some producers that have done that, they actually cut out and they re-upload their files, which is a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a whole lot of work. All right. So let's talk about, Jess, I know you're going to be like, oh my God, but I have to talk about this. I have to, because now I've had these for a while. So we're going to be looking for some tool tips. We're going to move to some tool tips now.
Let's do it.
Darn it. Hang on. I got to get to your thing.
He's like,
sorry.
I'm like, tool tips.
Here we go. Tool tips.
Tool tips.
Elsie's tool tips.
Okay. So I am going to be talking about 2 separate headphones. Jess, have you seen these? Sure. Was kind enough to send me a couple of headphones. I got them, I got them about right around my birthday. So I've had a couple of weeks to play with these, and I have put them through their paces. So I have now an opinion about these for sure.
Excellent.
So let's start with the pretty ones. I'm only saying the pretty ones because I'm very vain when it comes to my tech gear. As you know, Jess, I was like, even the camera I bought with the Sony camera, I had to get the white one. Like, I'm really into just the colors of things. So we are going to talk about first. They have nice cans and they're massively huge.
Whoa.
Yes. Whoa. Okay. So these are the first cans, if you will. These are the Shure Ionic 40. You can see that. These are Bluetooth headphones. Okay.
Ooh.
They come in black.
I've seen them. I think I have seen them.
And white. Okay. They also have a beautiful little case, which I don't have up here so that you can see how pretty the case is. It's a hard case that you can definitely put them in, and it's a very sturdy thing. So the first thing that I have to say is that the build of these is beautiful. It's a beautiful build. They are very sturdy. They are they don't feel flimsy like at all. They feel like they are going to last. The leather little thingy-majiggers that you put on your ears, that leather thing is super soft and
awesome.
They feel very high quality, high build all the way around. So I've been testing these. They have paired seamlessly with everything I own. So iPad, iPhone, computers. It feels like I can definitely hear very well through them. I am a huge fan of being able to have these and people can hear me talking through. The microphones seem to be a fairly solid microphone when I'm on Zoom calls and things like that. So all of the usability of them is been fantastic. So these are all the pros that I'm going to give you. They do have a little sort of noise canceling thingy-majigger with them, but I haven't heard too much of a difference with the noise canceling, maybe because I also have the quiet comfort ones and I also have the AirPods Pro. Yeah. Those feel like they have a stronger like noise canceling thing happening with them. It's a little bit clearer, right?
The Shure, you mean?
No, the Bose Quiet Comfort.
Yeah, Bose, you can't hear a thing.
Yeah, the Bose Quiet Comfort has it's wonderful. So when it comes to those two, the AirPods Pro and the Bose Quiet Comfort, they have better noise cancellation than these do, but these are still pretty good. And they look and feel great. And I really, really dig that. For the most part, they're comfortable. But you have to understand that I am a power user. Okay. So I don't just use headphones for a little bit. I use them for long periods of time because I'm constantly listening. I don't know if I have the weight here to tell you what this is about, but they are heavier than and I'm only using the Bose Quiet Comfort because that's something that I've been using for a while. The Bose Quiet Comfort are very light and you can wear them for a long time. Do you agree, Jess?
Yes, I can wear them. Yeah. Except for if you have puffy hair, it's a little bit of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise it's great.
Yeah. So these are, I would say for me, much heavier. Much heavier. So if I wear them for a longer period of time, the top of my head starts to hurt like this, that because it's
Oh,
so
no.
heavy and pulling them down so that like it kind of hurts at the top. Mind you, again, I am a power user. So I'm using them a lot. So that's something I don't really like about them. And also the other thing that it has that I don't like is that when you have to push to turn it on and to turn it off. And it's got this sound that sounds like the car starting.
Mm-hmm.
And it has two separate sounds like the car starting, like or but I can't tell the
That's
difference.
bizarre. What's
Yeah,
that about?
I can't tell the difference. I don't know. Like there's been times when they have been on when I thought it was off and I have to go in there and kind of mess around and I don't see a light. So there are some things that I'm not too keen on when it comes to that.
Mhm.
And also I haven't figured out how to easily do the volume buttons. Like in the Quiet Comfort, I can do it really, really quickly. And even though I know where they are, I often don't do it. I'm get confused. I end up using the iPad or the phone to turn the volume down instead, even though it's built in.
Mhm.
One other really wonderful thing about these is the battery life. The battery life in these things is crazy. I use them. There's a point there that I used them at least 6 hours a day, like 2 or 3 days in a row.
Wow.
And they were still like, I never had to. I was like, I want to make it run out of batteries. I had to force it to run out of batteries.
Wow.
So that was amazing. So that is these guys. So if you guys want an alternative to the Quiet Comfort, I think that these are great. If you're a power user or a power wearer of things, that maybe the Quiet Comfort would be your thing. But these are sturdy. The box is great. I love this as an addition to the things that I'm doing. So thank you, Shore, for sending these along. They're a really beautiful choice. And again, aesthetically, I really, really dig them. So there's that. Now
Very
let's talk
nice.
about the this one. This is the Shure. Can you see it? The Shure SRH 440A. These are the professional studio headphones. So I've never owned professional studio headphones before, and now I have them. So these are so comfy. So comfy. Super light. They are super light little headphones. These are so comfy here. The squishy things around your ears are amazing. And these are the big cans that John was that he sent.
What's up, big cans?
These are huge. Look at I'm putting them on right now, but see how big these things are? They're like have some nice cans and they're massively huge. But they're cute. They're like, they're super comfy. I love these things. The build of these is really solid too. They're not as solid as the Ionic 40s. Those are like metal. This is more plastic, but it's super light. I can wear these for a much longer amount of time. And they have this cord that is miles long. Look at this thing. It keeps going and it keeps going. And it keeps going. It is the longest cord that ever was created. And I think it's awesome. And it's really thick. So I've been using this when I record the feed. I've been using this when I'm editing on the Mac Mini. I'm using it when I am editing with my whenever I'm editing anything at all, I grab these because I just feel so much more comfortable with them on. And I dig them a lot. Now,
is the cord detachable?
It is not. No, it is not detachable. Oh, wait, hold on. It is detachable.
Hey!
Yes, the cord is detachable. Look at that, Carrie. Thanks for asking that question. Yes, absolutely. Yes, the cord is detachable.
Yay.
And they are so good. These are, and I didn't tell you the prices because the prices are not cheap. So the Shure.
They never are for good headphones though. We know that.
Yeah, these beautiful, what do you call it? The professional studio headphones are $99. So they are not inexpensive, but if you were to invest in a pair, these are great. I really dig them. Although I've never owned a pair, so I don't have a comparison like I do with the Quiet Comfort. The Quiet Comfort are also a little bit on the expensive side. They are more money than the ones that than the studio headphones. I believe they're like $299. I have to like look at no, $249. These are $249. I forgot how much the Bose Quiet Comfort are. I think that those are $349. Am I correct on that, Jess?
Bose? They
Yeah,
were
the Bose.
$349 when we bought them, or $399 on sale for $349, maybe.
Yeah.
That was years ago.
Yeah.
We've had them for a few years now.
I have mine are super they're like falling apart because I've used them so much. But if I want to get now they are gone down. They used to be $299, but you can get the pair that I have at $179 right now in Bose, but not the silver kind. So they have gone down in price a lot. The Ionic is $249 and they just came out. So it really depends on how hard you work and how hard you use your tech and for how long. I think that the big kicker for that is how long are you going to wear them and where. So if you're using them for mostly for home and you're only going to use them for like Zoom calls or the occasional listening to podcasts here and there, I would totally get the Ionic Shore ones. But if you're going to be using them for long periods of time and you're going to be traveling like on airplanes or you really want quiet around you when you work and you want over the ears, I would probably go with the Quiet Comfort, at least the Quiet Comfort that I got back in the day, which is the Quiet Comfort 35 is what I currently have of the other ones. So anyway, that
I have a question.
Yes.
All right, so the cord for the longest cord in the world.
Yes.
What ends do you have for that? Are they 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch? Is there an
They
adapter?
are both. Yes, they come with the.
Well, that's the one for the end it would plug into, but the end that plugs into the headphones itself, what size is that? Does that look like a special cord?
It is a little one. Is this would this
It's an
be
1/8 inch.
an 1/8 inch? Those I can't. I think I can't.
Okay. So I'm just saying, because I mean, since that's the Lourdes, I'm sorry. You know what? It might be a little different. I just don't want to see if it's a proprietary cord, or can I buy a 6-footer or 3-footer that I'm not rolling over the cord with my chair and dragging it around and stuff like that. That's the only thing.
Yeah, you can totally do it.
I'll be honest with you. For $99, that is a buy right there.
Yeah, it is. They're really nice, and they're. I think my favorite thing about these is how light they are. I was very surprised because I started to wear. First, I wore the white ones, the cordless ones, and then when I got this ones, I was like, oh, and so it feels so good in my ears. And the one thing that I love the most is that the ones that I'm wearing right now, which are our $15 ones, Jess, you have it too. They are a pain in the butt to stick in the ears sometimes. You can't really quickly put them on.
Right.
I agree with you.
You can't put these on like really fast.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes. And Carrie has a really key thing. The Shore cords are cat nibble resistance.
Cat nibble resistant. I never heard that phrase quite that way.
Our cats destroyed when early on, because now they are little geriatric type of cats, right? So they're just chilling out. They're kind of old, but they're great. I mean, they're still great, but you can tell that they're a little older for sure. But when I 15 years ago, when I first met these kitties, they made us spend hundreds of dollars chewing everything. Like Randy lost at least 4 separate speakers for his computer because they would go in the back and just chew them. They would just chew them.
What?
All the modems to the internet, they would just chew them. If they were hungry, forget about it. It's the first thing that they would go do. Like they would just chew a cord and they would know that daddy would get up and pay attention to them. So they would destroy cords. So now they're too old to be bothered.
Right.
That's exactly why I don't have pets.
Yeah.
I went through the same thing. Dogs,
Oh,
cats,
just
and
you wait.
rabbits.
Old kitties are hell once they get old. They are rough.
Yes, she's
Rough,
like,
rough,
it's
rough.
like tech companies make Cord salmon phone. Toby, I know Toby. Listen, man, he's like, he'll send me your shipping address to me, and I'll send you a copy of our book. They just published a book, and they have sent me free things, and I have yet to fulfill that. I have been so full in my inbox, people. I am so sorry. I'm the worst
I'm the
person
worst, too.
ever. I
Mm.
barely text Jess. Let's put it that way.
That's a lie. But we
barely-
don't really check our email that well. Both.
No,
I'm
that's
not
right.
good at that.
Neither one of us check. It's hard.
We do text though. Don't lie.
I know.
Don't lie to the
We
people.
do text. I know. I
Right.
can't lie about that. We do text a lot. Yes. But yeah, I am really bad at returning people's things. I mean, not people's things, but like people's emails.
What are you talking about?
Wrong words. Wrong words.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
that new tech that we're using that nobody uses anymore except me?
What? Record?
No,
Or
you did for the
what?
podcast. I can't think of it. You set up the whole thing for podcasts that when I edit, I go in and say it's done, and then Elsie's supposed to say when she does it. What's that we're using?
Slack?
Asana.
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 Yeah, she got into Asana. I went in there and I'm like, I'm the only one that's using this thing.
No, you're not.
Actually, Melissa
You use
and
it.
Jess are using it religiously. I'm the one that doesn't. I think Melissa checks off my things for me.
Rude.
I know. I'm trying to be better, but I don't. It's hard to wrangle me. I'm trying my best. Believe me.
It is so useful once you start using it. You
No,
would not
I
even believe it.
absolutely understand. It's just those little things. But anyway, I think that we're finished. Unless Jess,
I
you would
think you're
like
right.
to. I talked forever, so if you want to talk a little bit, actually, you talked at the beginning with the kids.
I talked a lot. I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay,
We're good. I think we're good here. Don't you?
we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Yes.
We're all set. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we will sign it on out. Thank you so much for listening to She Podcast. And if you're with us recording it live, thank you for watching this happen. If you'd love to find us on social, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and TikTok at She Podcast. Please follow us on TikTok because it's kind of lonely to do videos when nobody watches. They're
Aw.
also on Instagram too, though. And let's see what else. If you want to send us feedback, you can send it to this email, feedback@shepodcast.com. We also invite you to check out the show notes and all the links from today's episode on shepodcasts.com. Thank you so much for being here. We love you.
Mean it.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye bye.
Bye 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 bye.
All right, we can end up.
Oh yeah, we got to stop recording.
All
We
right.
can save that. Holy mackerel.
Oh,
Elsie's 100% right, though. I started having all my issues when I hurt my knees and I couldn't walk anymore, and I became sedentary. And my doctor said, dude, you got to get up and do some moving around, even if you do chair exercises.
Yeah.
Got to
I
get
know. He does. He's a kid. Of course he moves
I'm
around.
not talking about him. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about me. Me.
All right.
Me. I'm not. No, it's terrible. It's hard. It's a horrible thing when you're young like that, and unfortunately, this pandemic has really put a target on people who are overweight too.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's that. But it was a fun show. It's fun listening.
I'm losing my hearing. Hold on.
Anybody have any before we get going? Does anybody have any ideas for the title of this
Okay, here we
episode?
go.
Because
My earpods fell out. You
it's
there?
so hard. Yes, I'm here. I just
Is
said that
anyone
if
there?
anybody has an idea for a title for the
I can't hear
episode,
anything now. Of course.
it would be amazing.
Hold on.
Good Lord. This is why I hate
know.
wireless. Right
This
here.
is why I hate wireless too.
I hate wireless.
Can you talk to me now?
I talked to you.
I hate
Can't hear a
wireless.
thing. God damn it.
Of
All right, I
course,
guess I'm
this
gonna
is
go
why-
because my things fell
Yeah,
out.
she
Now I
can't hear
anybody.
anything. But if anybody has any ideas,
Bye.
just put them in the chat and put it later, and then we
I
will.
don't know what she's saying, so I'm gonna go.
I know you can go,
Bye.
Jess. We're just going to finish up here. So if anybody has any ideas, put them in there, and we will look them over.
I'm back.
Okay, all.
Yeah, I was
So,
thinking something with a rant, like something rant wise, because the whole
Something rant wise and rant and wait. Where is the second rant? She was just talking about. It wasn't a second rant, Carrie. It was the What did she say? It was one sentence.
I forget what it was. Now.
Oh, she killed her Oh,
she killed
my mom is there. She killed the
hermit
crab, the hermit crab.
Right. Hermit crabs do not chew the cord.
No,
So
but they need warmth.
yes, they do.
Yes.
Very tech heavy. I love tech. Well, you know me. I love the tech. I love all.
I know.
the
I
tech.
needed to talk about these because sure, send them to me. And
They're
part
nice.
of, I wanted you guys to see this gear, like to get the benefits of me being able to test this stuff out and make the best choices. So it was very
Definitely.
nice to have both of these. And that's really wonderful that Shore is like stoking us out with all of these fun, fancy things like
I'm buying a pair as soon as I get off of here.
B7. Yeah, they're really nice. They're actually I'm really impressed with them.
Because I
And
got
they're comfortable.
cord, and this thing gets tangled up so much, and I sit there and it's like pulling against me because they get all tangled up. I wanted a straight cord.
Nibble resistant rants is your title, says Carrie.
Resistant rants.
The shorts are so comfy. Yes, that's great. Melissa, see if you can pitch Jess on that. Let's put that in the show notes. If you're here, Melissa, she might be gone. She probably left.
Maybe. All right. Oh, I got to end the broadcast.
I know.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Oh, yeah, we have to end the broadcast.